Here's the show, everybody. Does anybody in here know anybody who receives a 13th or 14th month's paycheck or pension check?
No.
No. Well, if you had been working for the Greece government, you would have received a 13th and 14th wage payment or pension check, but not anymore because the Greek government is highly in debt. My name is Tanja, and I'm going to talk about the Greek debt crisis tonight. A debt crisis that is affecting the whole financial world. Greece debt crisis could easily spread to other countries. Since I am a business major, I thought I would talk about a business topic. So I chose to do some research on the Greek debt crisis, and I conducted my research online. I retrieved my information mainly from the International Monetary Fund website, the IMF website, and from other online news magazines. So tonight I'm going to talk about the reasons, the remedies, and the threats of the Greek debt crisis. First, let me start with some reasons. According to the IMF survey magazines, Greece has two problems. One is that its budget deficit and its public debt are too high. In 2009, Greece's budget deficit was at 13.6% of its GDP, and its public debt was at 115% of GDP. In comparison to that, the US deficit was at 10.6% and the public debt was at 52.9%, according to the Congressional Budgeting Office. High deficits result from high expenditures and low revenues, and Greece's high expenditures result from high wages and pensions. According to the IMF survey magazine, wages and social benefits constitute 75% of total public spending in Greece. Greece's high deficit also results from low revenues. An IMF publication from May 2010 implies that there are those who have not carried their fair share in the tax burden. The other problem is that Greece is not competitive enough. Greece has too much government control. In an interview, journalist and blog writer of the New Athenian, John Sapopoulos, says that 50% of the Greece economy is state-controlled. In addition, Greece has complicated government regulation. It is, for example, very complicated to start a business or to even get a part-time job. Now that I've talked about the reasons, I would like to discuss some remedies. The EU governments and the IMF have agreed to loan Greece 110 billion euro, that's about $130 billion. In return, says Kazert from the Washington Post, Greece has to make painful budget cuts and tax increases. The budget deficits have to come back to a normal level, and normal level for EU, normal levels are 3% or lower. So Greece has to lower its expenditures. One example how it can do that, mentioned in the publication I mentioned before, is that Greece will eliminate the 13th and 14th pensions and income payments. Additionally, Greece has to increase its revenues. Examples of that from the publications are that Greece will impose special taxes on highly profitable enterprises, on large properties and luxury goods, and it will increase its taxes on tobacco and alcohol. And Greece's economy has to become more competitive. Greece has to reduce its government control. One way, according to the publication, is that by liberalizing network industries, like the transport and energy industry. Greece does not only have to reduce government regulation, it also has to make it easier. It will cut procedures and costs and delays for business startups, and it will make it easier to use part-time jobs. I would also like to discuss some of the threats. The public debt crisis could easily spread to other countries. Investors backed out of Greece's government bonds because Greece could not repay them. So now investors are looking at other highly indebted countries and backing out of their bonds too. That drives up the loan rates of those indebted countries and in turn drives up their debt. And this viral effect is called contagion effect, according to Irwin from the Washington Post. The financial crisis that moves from country to country. Furthermore, the debt crisis could dampen international markets. The ECB, the European Central Bank, has been buying government bonds from indebted countries to help them with their debt, but not all EU governments agree to that, because what the ECB mainly does is printing money to loan money. And that heightens the risk of inflation. And if we have inflation in Europe, the euro will become weaker. And for America, that a weak euro means less production in two ways. One way is that the European imports will become cheaper, and people in America will buy more European imports instead of domestic products. And the other way is that the exports to Europe will become less because the euro's purchasing power decreases. In summary, the reasons for the Greece budget crisis are the high budget deficit and high debt, and lack of competitiveness. And the remedies are to bring the budget deficit to a normal level and to improve competitiveness. However, there's still the threat of contagion, and so in conclusion, my word of advice is to be aware of what's going on in the world. It could hit us as well. Okay.